ball when your guys are out there in that environment?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's January. So Bill is always famous for that. You know, whatever it is, it is. Get your blank on and get out there. So, you know, it's kind of the first one that we had that was, you know, start with snow, kind of snow dwindled away, cold. But that's what it is this time of year. As much as that sucks playing in it, it's a joy to know that you're still playing.
How many times have you said San Diego Chargers this week?
I've been pretty good, man. I just go with Chargers.
You haven't seen that say San Diego instead of LA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just you get so used to it, you know. So it happens, but I just stick to Chargers, you know, make it easy.
We haven't seen you the last few days. How are you feeling?
Y'all haven't seen me?
No, we haven't seen you. We haven't seen you.
You haven't seen? You ain't see anybody. We was off the last couple of days. I've been good. You know, anytime you get injured, just working and try to get back out there. So it's felt good to be back out there this week with the guys practicing and getting ready to go playing a playoff game.
And you talk about Gronk, just in his leadership skills and how important that is at this time of year.
Oh, it's great. I mean, I think obviously we have a ton of guys that have, you know, playoff experience and all of that. But I think you see from every guy, you know, Gronk, Tom, Jules, you know, myself, Duke, Pat, is guys saying, like, we just got to go play our best football. You know, nothing else really matters. Our record, you know, our rankings and stats and all that's out of the window. Like, if we don't play our best football Sunday, like, that's the end of our season. I think we all realize that. So I think from top to bottom, guys are seeing that. And, you know, I think you kind of realize each day could be your last day in here. Guys practicing hard, trying to, you know, do as much as we can to be ready to go Sunday.
What about Gronk? What makes him unique or different?
He's really good. Yeah, he's really good. So, but I think to me, is how he practices, how he goes about everything. You know, works his butt off. You know, we all battle in practice. You guys all, you know, ask us all the time, how was it going against a guy like that to prepare? It's great because we're all trying to make each other better. We practice against each other now for 9 years. You know, we're used to covering each other or me covering him. He knows, you know, so I think just that every day going after each other, trying to make each other better has helped all us out.
Devin, the Chargers have a lot of tall receivers, large catch radiuses. Do you do anything different this week?
No, you just got to compete. You know, you talk about like Gronk's another guy like that, the same thing. You can't make up for what you don't have in size and all. You just compete, you know, trying to get a hand on the ball, pull an arm, doing whatever you can to wrestle balls out. And, you know, I think we have a lot of guys in our secondary, you know, that do that, whether it's Steph, Jay, JC, Jay Jones, Pat, you know, everybody out there is covering guys usually bigger than them. It comes down to just competing and having a will to try not to give up a catch.
Because you were full participant yesterday in practice, do you expect to play Sunday?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. I hope so.
Where do you draw the line with trying to tackle the guy and then you go after the ball on a play? Because you said you're trying, you know, if you're trying to get the ball loose or try to make that turnover, it's just as important as maybe anything else in the game.
When in doubt, you make the tackle. I think that's been a fundamental since I've been here. Like, we got to tackle the guy with the ball. Second guy in, you know, usually go for the strip and things like that. But first and foremost, we got to make the tackle, especially against these guys. You know, with Gordon and Ecker, both are 1 and 2 in the league for yards after catch. You know, so, you know, we're not talking about like on their team, like in the whole league from the running back position. So across the board, you know, Mike Williams, Terrell Williams are bigger guys, like he said, that can run. Keenan Allen is obviously, you know, incredible talent out there. So we got to do a good job of tackling them because even when, you know, we're in good shape, they catch the ball in front of us, you know, the hardest thing is tackling them. So that's one thing we've talked about a lot this week of trying to make sure, for one, we get everybody to the ball, the gang tackle as much as possible, and trying to make one-on-one tackles.
How big of a challenge is Desmond King in the return game?
You got to get all 11 guys around him. He does a great job, I think, of finding holes and then breaking and running through arm tackles. You see it each week, you know, even if they have a guy or two, you know, that kind of have what we call half a body free to try to make a tackle, he usually runs through that. So, you know, he makes game-changing plays. And I think for us, from a coverage unit, that's something, you know, you don't really want to give up, especially this time of year. So, but it takes everybody. You know, one guy's not going to get down there and make the play each time. it's going to take all 11 guys kind of in their lanes and, you know, covering the appropriate style and what we talk about all week.
What are your thoughts on Phillip Rivers and the problems he poses?
I'm a big fan of Phillip Rivers, so I think he does a great job. You watch the games, you see him, he's yelling and screaming on the line of scrimmage. You can tell he watches a ton of film. He's trying to get them in the best play for whatever defense we're in. So it's, you know, obviously his physical talents and what he can do, very accurate, throwing a deep ball. It's also a huge mental game of trying to not give him everything because he's too good of a quarterback. If we just line up and, you know, he'll kind of tear us apart. It's just like in practice if we give Tom everything that we're doing. So he's a very competitive guy. And I think it lets us know we've played against him before. It's going to go all the way down to the wire. You know, they came here last year. I think ended up being down 8 points, and Jay Jones makes an interception on the 1 or 2 yard line to end the game. Like it's going to be that type of game.
Jason, we know that Jason's excited about this.
I get it all the time. Don't worry about it.
About his first playoff game, but is your mother just the most excited person in the family right now to see both of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think you talk about, like, I've won Super Bowls and all. I think the thing she's most wanted in our NFL is Jason to play in the playoffs. So I'm sure she'll be fired up, you know, to see him playing his first playoff game. She said that over and over. She just wanted him to get some type of success that I've had as far as playoffs and post regular season, all of that, and the atmosphere. So the McCourty gang will be pretty fired up Sunday.
So you're being the favorite twin maybe this weekend?
I don't think he'll jump that high, but it'll be good for the family.
Do you have any advice? Did you give him any advice about playing in the playoffs because he's never been there before?
No, not really. I mean, like I said earlier, it comes down to playing your best football. You know, it's like you don't want to sit after practice and run 20 extra wind sprints because it's the playoff. Like, you just keep doing what you've been doing. But it gets that time of the year where, you know, there's no more my bads or, you know, I'll get that next time. Like, there is no next time. But, I mean, 10 years in the NFL, not tasting the playoffs, I think he realizes that probably more than any of us because in 10 years, this will be his first one. He knows, you know, it's not guaranteed. It doesn't happen all the time. So I think his sense of urgency has been something that we've all watched and kind of took from.
What do you remember about your first playoff game back in 2010?
Intense. It's just intensity of, I think each play can change the game. Every guy knows there's no tomorrow, and you can just feel that. You know, you feel the energy. You guys are really locked in, ready to go, because nothing else matters. Like, our family's at home, sacrificing now time-wise to let us come home, watch as much film as needed, do whatever, because it's, you know, you got a couple weeks or you got 1 week. Like, that's just how it is.
Devin, are you at all sentimental, maybe a little more in your 9th year? You know you're going to have so many more of these opportunities. Do you appreciate them more, or just your mentality changed as you've gotten older?
Yeah, I think when you first get in the league, especially for me here, being, you know, you come in as a rookie, you go 14-2, you lose in a division game, you're like, man, I got to make sure every time we get in the playoffs, you know, we win. And it's like skipping past it, even the regular season, like it's a lot to get in the play. And I think as you get older, you kind of realize football as a whole isn't guaranteed. So each time, you know, to finish a regular season is important. Like that to me is huge. When I can play in all 16 games, like that's a huge accomplishment in year 9. Now you talk about playing in the postseason, it's another huge accomplishment that I want to, you know, take full advantage of and go out there and play my best for the team. And you kind of realize all these guys in the locker room, you know, I didn't probably realize that to my 3rd year of how fast, you know, you get 1 year and in the locker room usually, you know, guys are leaving, guys are retiring, you know, released, traded, signing free agent. So you don't want to miss out on the opportunity you have with a team, especially when you feel it's a special team.
There's been so much talk about how tough this Chargers team is, just with how well they play on the road. In your opinion, what makes this team tough?
I think they're just a really good football team, too. I mean, obviously you can tell the mental toughness to go into Baltimore, playing on the road, 1 o'clock game, and they come out and they start fast, you know, defensively, offensively, moving the ball down the field. You can see they're not really worried about who they're playing, where they're playing at. And I think everyone is always into, like, home and away and, you know, home field. Like, you can see that doesn't matter. 3 out of the 4 teams in the first round of the playoffs were, you know, road teams to win. So I think that's what we realized the most from that. Like, this team is going to come here and they're going to try to punch us in the mouth from the beginning, and we got to be ready to go.
Anybody else?